So now the question is, what do we do with the problem that we have in heritage? It speaks about it in the Gemara also, and there's many researchers that are going in that the shape of the letters have changed. So how can we base ourselves all kinds of drashot and understandings on the shape of the Aleph, the Bet that we have, if this is not the original shape that we got the Torah? We got the Torah in different shape, and now there's new shapes, and now you're coming and you're saying all kinds of drashot and ideas about this new shape of the letters. So the question is a very good question, and I'm not sure that my answer is such a good answer as the question is a good question, but I'll give you what I have. There's a few stages to the answer. First of all, we don't really know what happened. Okay? It's not clear. There is all kinds of theories, there is all kinds of ideas, but we don't really know what happened. Okay? There is something that is called the Ktav Yetedot, that is, they say that is the first Hebrew script that there was, that is very different than the letters that we're using today. And the shape of the letters that we have today is called Ktav Ashurit, the shape of the Sefer Torah. And it does speaks about it in the Gemara that was set as the halacha that they chose this writing in the generation of Ezra Sofer when they came back from the first exile to Babylon. Now, we don't know what was the shape of the Torah in heavens. Okay? Meaning, to answer that, I will go from a slightly different angle.
Just not a tiny question that I want to throw in. Did the pronunciation change?
That's another question. Let's finish with one, then we'll go to the other. I want to connect that to a principle that is brought down in the words of the Ramchal that he speaks about the Bet HaMikdash. So the Ramchal says that we know that it's not the idea of the Ramchal, but the Ramchal explains very nicely in the article that he have. It's called Mishkan Elyon, that there is the heavenly Bet HaMikdash and then there is the earthly Bet HaMikdash. So when the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, so first it was destroyed in the heavens, and then it was destroyed in the earth, and also vice versa. That the building of Bet HaMikdash first have to happen in the heavens, and then it will allow it to happen in the earth. Okay. And actually the Ramchal says that in the time that Yechezkel prophet, saw the third Bet HaMikdash, how could he say that? Because it was already there in the heavens. And since that time of the vision of Yechezkel Hanavi, the third Bet HaMikdash is standing in heavens and is waiting that for the right time to be manifested in earth. Okay? So my understanding with the Hebrew letters is basically the same. Okay? It's true that we applied those shapes of letters in a certain point in the timeline of the history. But as far as I understand, it was there existing in the heavens from the beginning of time. For different reasons, we didn't apply them in the earth. But when the time was right to apply those letters in earth, so then the sages said, now we got to that point that we can manifest this shape of letters that is so meaningful, and to use that to write the Torah. Okay? Why it was not allowed before that? That's a good question. We'll leave it for another time. But in a certain time, in the timeline of the history of the Jewish people, the sages have decided this is the time to apply the principles. And we know that those people, the Ezra Sofer, is, that they were prophets. He came with Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, that were, the last prophets. That's the end of the stage of. So that time of the end of the prophets and the beginning of Anshe Knesset Gdolah, that they made for us all the structure of the prayers and the Berakhot and so on and so forth. So they also applied those principles of the shape of the letters. Okay? So the fact that we don't have evidence that it was used before, it doesn't mean that it's something that they invented from their mind. No, they were prophets. They were able to elevate their consciousness to the upper realms and to receive this information that was there all along. That's prophecy, So when you're talking about prophets, you're not talking about a person that is, like bored in his room and is playing with the pencil and is coming up with all kinds of nice letters. That's not what we're talking about.
Is this alphabet still divine? Is it a divine?
Yes, it is divine. It is very, very divine. Definitely, it is very divine, and all of the teachings that you have about the shape of those letters is proving how divine it is. And there is many books about it, and B'ezrat Hashem I can show you a few books about it. But the point of the matter is that you shouldn't think that it's an invention of one human being that he just scribed something. That doesn't work this way. What we have is something that is coming in prophecy. It was there in heaven, and that's why it's so meaningful, and that's why it makes the Sefer Torah and the Tefillin and the Mezuzot, it will be holy. What does it mean that it's holy? That it draws light, draws the light of the heavens into those parchments that we are writing. It's something that is very, very delicate. Have to be done only in a certain way, certain person that he knows how to do it, and is writing in a certain way, that to follow all the procedure, all the inherited, that it will apply and it will work in this way, that it will, it's like a it's in a certain way, it's like a electronic device, that if something is a little slightly off, there's some slight movement, so everything is not working. So everything has to be just right, that it will work and it will fill this function of what it's supposed to be.
There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, right?
Yes.
22 characters.
22 letters.
So is there any Kabbalistic significance of that?
There's many Kabbalistic significance for the 22 letters, and there's another 5 letters that is the end letters, Otiyot Sofiot, Mansepar. It is also very meaningful. Everything have meaning.
One thing that I realized, Mitzrayim also means. What I mean, we just talked about
Mitzrayim we will live for the next time.
We got the man.
Amen.